Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go over some affordable and sometimes free platforms that offer free domain and some platforms that offer free hosting as well. So domains are what users and what yourself will use as like the name of your website. It's an easy to remember address used to kind of access websites, and they can be registered with domain registrars like Namecheap, names.co.uk, GoDaddy. So anyone who wants to create a website can register a domain name with a domain registrar, and there are over 300 million registered domain names. So yeah, a domain name is the more aesthetic and more easy to remember name of your website. The actual address of your website is a series of numbers and letters known as IP address, but thanks to platforms like DNS and technologies like DNS, users are able to enter a more human-friendly domain name and be routed to the website they're looking for, as opposed to remembering that sort of series of IP addresses. This is what's known as DNS lookup. So as I mentioned before, domain names are managed by domain registries, which delegate the reservation of domain names to registrars, and some popular ones are like names.co.uk, GoDaddy, 123, NameReg, things like that. Domain names are typically broken into three parts. They go from left to right. You have the lookup, so you have the www dot. Then the middle part is usually the address. So for example, Google is the middle part of the domain name. Then you've got the actual name of the address. And then you've got the last part, which is the identifier. So things like .com, .co.uk, .org kind of lets users and Google know what kind of website this is and where it's based. It's important that when you have registered a domain name that you keep the domain name secure. And by that I mean you can never fully own a domain name. You buy the domain name for a certain number of months or years, depending on what is offered by the domain registrar and what billing cycle that you've chosen. So the registrar is in charge of notifying yourself, who has bought the domain, when your domain is about to expire and give you a chance to renew it, ensuring that you don't lose that domain name. In some cases, registrars will almost look out for users' expired domain names, buy those domain names and the second they expire, and then sell them back to the original registrant at a very extortionate price. So it's important to choose an honest and trustworthy registrar to avoid these kind of predatory prices, basically. And you can always tell a good domain registrar just by the reviews that they get and how popular that they are. And we'll go over a few of those today. But specifically in this video, we're going to talk about how to get a free domain, or at least a very low-cost ones. So no-cost domain names come with like a few issues, but they are useful options if you're on a tight budget. And purchasing a domain name itself isn't that complicated, and there are several methods kind of to buy one. There are a few things to consider when you're selecting a domain name. So as I mentioned before, domain names aren't yours to keep forever. You buy them for a year or 2 years or 3 years, depending on what the registrar is offering, and then you will be billed for a renewal, basically. So if you don't renew it, you will lose all rights to using that domain name. Domain names sometimes don't really come with a privacy protection, and that means your information as the domain owner can be publicly available to someone who using the Whois database. The Whois database is basically a database that you can look up to see who owns a particular domain and IP addresses. So some domain registrars don't offer private domains or privacy protection. There are some hosting companies that do offer that. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're buying the domain name with business information, so you'd put in your business address, business information, things like that, then it might not be so bad, but if you're a blogger and you don't want your personal address available for the internet to see, privacy protection is important, and depending on the registrar you use, it can be as low as maybe $2 a year or as high as $20 a year, but you can also get that within your hosting bundle as well, depending on which hosting provider that you go for. With the privacy protection, you minimize the risk of spam and also any kind of identity theft. So in terms of free domain registrars, one option is .tk. They are registrars that allow you to obtain a domain for free. They let you search for a domain and choose from one of 5 non-cost extensions. The extensions being tk.ml, .ga, .cf, and .gq. So for example, if we wanted one for a traveling blog, we would type in the name of the domain, check availability, and you can see, so there are none of these that are available. So we'll try another one. Okay, so there's clearly an issue with their website right now, but essentially you would type in the name of the domain that you want and check availability, and they'll be able to tell you which of these extensions are available, and these ones would be the free ones. As you've noticed, .tk, .ml, .ga, .cf, and .gq, these aren't the typical common suffixes that you'll commonly see with it when you browse the web, so they can make your site appear maybe a little bit sketchy, and it can mean that some people can be put off by your website, and so that's where one of the cons come in when it comes to free domains, is that you get the kind of not very used extensions, and this can put off people from going onto your website. However, it's important to note, if you are a blog website or if it's for a personal website, this might not be as major issue as if you were maybe a professional company, a brand, or anything like that. If you are sort of like a hobby blog or a personal website, this might not throw as many red flags as if it would be for like a professional branded business. So that's just something to think about. At the bottom, you can see that they do offer the more common browser extensions, so .com, .net, .eu, all of these are being offered. You can go as low as $3.97, which is quite a low price for the domain names. It's important to note again, they are registered and owned by .dk. You're just given the right to use them, so you can't sell or transfer the domain names to anyone else. But this is just one of the websites essentially where you can get cheap, free, or at least low cost websites for domains. So essentially, once you've selected one, we'll select one from here for now, but it's the same process if it was the free one. You would select the domain name that you want. It'll check if it's available. So it's currently not available, but essentially you would select the domain name that you want and then purchase through a billing cycle and decide which billing cycle that you want, if it's 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, something like that, whatever they offer. Another website that's useful for free domains is Freenorm, and this is the same company for .tk, so it's the same format, but essentially you get the same kind of browser extensions. You get .tk, .ml, .ga, and .cf, etc. So you get the same kind of browser extensions, the least common ones, but then you also get the more kind of common browser extensions at a slightly lower cost depending on which one you go for. So those are two examples of websites that offer free domains. As mentioned before, the downsides of the free domains is that you get the sort of unfriendly browsers as well. This can make, in terms of SEO, a little bit unfriendly as well. So free domains can't be as easily indexed in search engines as the paid ones would be. If you want a good SEO for your blog or your website, then maybe consider going for a paid domain. And as you can see, there are some domains that aren't as, you can get some domains for less than £10 as well. If you are wanting to start a professional blog website or anything like that, you want to make sure that there's a good chance of it appearing in search engines, and free domains might not always be the way. There are some advantages of using a free domain, and some of them can be useful for bloggers and writers, because it's not as important for your website to be as professionally branded. And it won't throw off so many red flags if you are using those ones. It's also used for like a learning purpose. If you want to know the process of buying a domain and things like that, you can do that as well. You can see that the main cost of a domain name really varies based on the domain extension. Apart from new domain names, you can also buy premium domain names as well. The price of a domain name really does vary. You can get some for as low as you can see, like £7, £8, things like that, and they can go quite high into premium pricing as well. In terms of domain registrars that aren't free but kind of well priced, one option is Namecheap. So Namecheap offers a lot of benefits that will kind of catch your eye as a potential domain registrar, and the main things being low prices. So the first year prices are quite affordable for domains. They also offer some free features that you kind of appreciate, including privacy protection for life, so no one can access the WHOIS information, and it also provides some security to protect the security of your website and the DNS as well. Namecheap will give you free professional email addresses as well, but it's just for a 2-month trial, but at least you do get that kind of offer in the beginning as well. So to register a domain name, all you need to do is search for a domain name. And then just click search. And you can see there's a few availabilities as well. So you can see for a .com version of the domain, it's less than £10 a year, which is pretty affordable pricing. And you can see you can even go even cheaper if you want to. You can do with the .org extension, still a very reputable extension. So you're not going to appear any like sketchy or anything like that. But you can see that they do have affordable pricing as well. Once you've selected which domain name that you want, you just want to click add to cart, and you can see when you click add to cart there are additional add-ons that you can add to it. So things like SSL, you can add managed WordPress hosting, and that's something that we can get into later. But essentially, if you are going to have a WordPress website, then there are some hosting platforms that will offer you managed hosting as well as a free domain for a few years or maybe 1 year as well. So sometimes it's cheaper and more value if you just get that all as one package deal. But you would add all of the options together, add any add-ons that you'd want, and then essentially see what is offered and then pay for anything extra. So for example, with this name that we've added, so $7.88 a year, we have a 1-year subscription of the domain privacy. So this will protect your data, your personal data from the WHOIS database, which is a really valuable tool to have, and the fact that they're offering it for free is really good and really valuable. With this drop down, you could decide how many years you want to register it for. So obviously with the 1 year $7.88, you can go all the way up to 10 years, and that'll increase the price. And you can see that with the longer billing registration, the more cost effective it is. So if you bill it for 10 years, the price goes down to $145, so you get up to 31% off, so you're actually only paying for £100 for 10 years. Same if you were to do it for 7 years, 6 years. The longer you register your domain for, the more value you'll get out of it, because you're registering it for longer, and it gives you some peace of mind that you know you don't have to renew your domain for another good 10 years or 7 years or whatever it is that you select. So that's one thing that you want to make sure when you're selecting a domain registrar is, do they offer things like the free domain privacy? Do they offer good deals if you were to register your domain for longer than a year, and anything extra that they might offer as well. Once you've confirmed what you want to get, you just want to click on confirm order, and then either create an account and continue to billing, or you can just log into your existing account. Another really good feature of Namecheap is that they have an excellent live chat support. So with all of the reviews, a lot of customers have mentioned that their live chat support is very good, and that's really important to know, because if you have any issues with your domain, any technical issues, accounting issues, things like that, you want to be comfortable knowing that you have a support that's there to kind of on hand. You have the support there that's able to meet all your needs and be able to give you support as well. A lot of the free web domain companies don't rank as highly with customer support, so that's something that to be aware of. Another popular domain registrar is GoDaddy. GoDaddy offer a complete website solution with both domain registrar and also web hosting plans at several price points. So it also has name recognition because it's been around for so long. It is a slightly more expensive registrar in terms of the domains that they have, but they offer a really good lineup of extensions to choose from, and lots of layers of privacy protection, including malicious domain transfers. So their pricings can start off from $20 a year for .com sites. So for example, if we search for a domain on their website, you can see even for like .com, they can start at $20 a year, but you have the first year with a 2-year registration at this price as well. So they do make offers, but they do start off normally at a higher price point. And the checkout process is very similar. So if you click on make it yours, it'll add it to the cart, and you can see that there's other options that they have as well. So bundle your domain and save. So in terms of the domain bundle, they'll give you full domain protection, secure online credit card payment processing, and then they'll also give you professional email to match your domain. So if these are things that you're wanting to get already, if you already wanted to get an email, if you do want the idea of a domain protection, then definitely I think go for it. It's something that GoDaddy do very well. If not, you can always choose to opt out, but those are some other things that you can do. Continue to cart to continue putting your upsell, to continue with your checkout. And again, it'll ask you to kind of select if there's anything that you want to do. So a little bit of some aggressive sort of upselling there, but you can always opt out of them. So things like the full domain protection, ultimate domain protection, no domain protection, all of these will add pricing apart from if you opt out of it. And then you can also opt out of emails as well if you need to. And then the checkout process is as simple as that. You just continue to cart and check out and add your billing and privacy info as well. Similar to names.co.uk and Namecheap, they do offer more of a discount if you were to select a billing cycle that's longer than a year. So you can see with a year you get 30% off, 5 years will give you a little bit more off, and then you can see the total discounts that you're getting. So again, if you are wanting to buy a domain for a long time, it's good to kind of bill at it like a 5-year, 7-year, 10-year, as much as they offer basically, and just do that. So different registrars can cost different ways. So like Bluehost, for example, free domain with hosting can cost as little as $2.75 per month. Domain.com can cost as little as $7.45 per month. Hostinger, they can go for as low as $270 per month as well. But again, it really just varies on the popularity of your domain name and the extensions that you choose to use. Some hidden costs of domain names that you might want to consider is, for example, the yearly renewals. So domain names registrations is done on a yearly basis. You can maintain control over your domain name as long as you continue to renew your registration each year. But again, there are some domain registrars that offer domain discounts on your first year of purchase, but then their renewal costs are much higher. So if you see a promotion where you can pay, like for example, $2 for a domain name, then that's usually for the first year only, and then your next year domain name will be a little bit of a higher price. The other hidden cost can be, as we talked about, is the domain privacy. So you can buy an add-on to protect you from that, and it costs usually around another $10. If you use domain registrars like Namecheap, they will give it to you for free, and there are some hosting providers as well. If you use their platform, they will offer that for free as well. But as long as you were to buy the domain through them, so one thing to kind of look out for as well. A good tip is to kind of secure your domain discounts for multiple years. So if you're able to buy a domain for 3 years, 10 years, 5 years, as long as you can, it's better to purchase a domain that way, since you'll be saving up significantly, and it also saves you from a future price increase if that were to ever happen. Another thing we can talk about now is web hosting and free web hosting. So web hosting is essentially hiring a hosting provider to host all of your site files on their servers so that people can access your website on the internet. In terms of free web hosting, there are some options available. Whether or not those options are worth it for the price, we'll go over it today. In most cases, though, you're better off with a cheap web hosting plan as opposed to a fully free hosting plan. Free website hosting is okay for a hobby project or a proof of concept type of project. But for any sort of serious website building project or a site that's meant to stay online for a long time, you're better off with an affordable web hosting plan, or even just picking a really premium plan as well. So some of the limitations of free website hosting, is that you kind of get what you pay for. So some of the limitations are usually to do things with like storage space and bandwidth. So some providers will place a lot of restrictions on those. So depending on how large your site is, you may not be given enough space in order to store your website. You might need to, if you have a particularly large site, there may not be any plans available that are free that'll be able to accommodate for a site of your large scale. The other thing you need to be aware of is performance. So there's a limit on bandwidth as well on the free plans. So a lot of premium plans will come with unlimited bandwidth or a really good amount of bandwidth, but free plans will be very limited, so meaning that the site speed can suffer greatly. It also means your site will be susceptible more to downtime, which can be a cause of issue for a lot of customers who may not return back to your website. So you could be losing repeat visitors and things like that. Again, if you are wanting like a normal kind of personal project that might not take another lot of storage space or anything like that, then a free website plan might be all you need. Or if you need a development tool or a staging site, then again, free hosting might be a better option as well. So some examples of web hosting providers that provide free websites. So one example is Infinity Free. So Infinity Free is a web hosting service that does guarantee a 99.9% uptime. It offers its users an auto installer of like 400 different apps, including WordPress. So you can have that kind of easy install of WordPress if you were to purchase one of their hosting plans. Free subdomains, you get 5 GB disk space, unlimited bandwidth, and 400 MySQL databases, and a good knowledge base support as well. So you'll have access to this Softaculous script installer to set up WordPress, and then this hosting provider as well particularly doesn't offer a domain registration, but you can use a domain that you've acquired from another domain registrar. So on first glance, this actually seems pretty good, especially with the 99% uptime and the fact that there's no ads on your site or anything like that. However, one thing to note is that you will get ads on the back end in the cPanel, and your site is also limited to 50,000 hits per day. So there is a limit again on the space, and there's also a limit on how much visits you can have on the site. But compared to most hosting plans, they do offer quite a lot, especially with the fast hosting, unlimited hosting, and the 99.9% uptime. Infinity Free is powered by ifast.net, which also offers premium hosting. Their cheapest plans start for $4.99 a month and includes 6 free domains, unlimited disk space, and more features as well. Another platform that offers free hosting is Wix. Wix is a drag and drop website builder, similar to tools like Squarespace and Weebly. You don't need to be familiar with code at all. Everything's kind of built and drag and drop for you. This is more of a website builder software, but it's worth mentioning because it kind of provides an all-in-one solution for domains, as well as hosting plans, as well as building your actual website. So Wix does come with a free plan that makes it a free web hosting service as well. So what you can do is Wix, create a free Wix account, build your site in Wix, buy a domain through Wix, and then also go and purchase one of their hosting plans. So their free hosting plan, you can see here. These are the premium plans, but their free hosting plans come with a Wix subdomain, meaning that you won't be able to connect to your own domain, but it'll have a wix.com subdomain. So for example, if your website is called phoneship.com, then your actual website will be called phoneship.wix.com, and you'll have the wix.com subdomain as part of the free plan. But you'll also have access to their range of different templates. You are limited by the disk space and bandwidth. Both of them are capped at 500 MB. They do have a decent knowledge base and customer support. Their load times are okay, but they also have free SSL and security monitoring. However, unfortunately, unlike Infinity Free, there will be ads placed on your site. So Wix places their own ads on a free plan sites. You can only connect a Wix subdomain, and you would have to move to a paid plan for connecting a custom domain. Also, if you're planning to have any kind of e-commerce functionality, it's fully unavailable in the free version. You would need to upgrade to one of their business and e-commerce plans that start at about £15 a month. However, you can still set up things like bookings, events, and forums, and fill in your site with sort of SEO-friendly content with just a few clicks. So it is worth mentioning, and it is worth sort of looking into if you are first kind of building out a website and getting some practice with that. So ByteHost is another free web hosting service that you can use, and its plans feature things like 1,000 MB, so 1 gigabyte of disk space, 50 GB monthly transfers, 5 subdomains, 1 MySQL database, and 24/7 support via ticket system and knowledge base. So they offer solid support for its free plan, which can be very rare. You can access their self-service knowledge base and video tutorials as well. Usually with free plans, for most hosting providers, they will just give you the access to the knowledge base, but you also get a ticketing system available to you as well. You'll also receive usage statistics such as disk space, bandwidth usage, and daily hits, and you can find this data in your cPanel as well as your their very own Vista panel. That's their free hosting control panel, and then you can use that information to help budget your resources slightly. So like Infinity Free, ByteHost is managed by iFastNet. So this company provides a variety of web hosting services at affordable prices. Like their Ultimate Premium plan comes with unlimited bandwidth, disk space, and add-on, and that starts at $8.99 per month. So they do have some good available options there as well. While your free web hosting platform, it won't be perfect, there is some viable option in some scenarios. If you are just a hobby blog kind of website, then paying a lot or even just using one of the free platforms might be enough. If you are an e-commerce website though, there's no kind of free hosting platform I would really recommend. Just because e-commerce websites would require a lot more kind of resources, a lot more kind of care taken to it. They tend to have higher traffic, more processes running in the background, so you want to make sure that the hosting platform that you use can cater to all of that. In terms of some affordable hosting options, hosting and domain options, it's usually better to go for a hosting provider that can give you all of those options as an all-in-one package. So for example, Bluehost. Bluehost is one of the oldest web hosts. They started way back in '96, and they've become a really large brand name when it comes to hosting, specifically WordPress hosting. They are an official WordPress recommended hosting provider. With Bluehost, a lot of their plans do offer free domain name, so you can buy your domain name through Bluehost and then get the first year free. To take a look at their plans, you can click on their hosting websites and what kind of hosting that you want to go for. They have one of the most affordable prices compared to other hosting platforms. Free domain name, free CDN. They have really great customer support. Officially, they are an officially recommended hosting platform for WordPress, and they have one-click WordPress install. They do have a higher domain renewal price. That's one thing to kind of look out for, but a lot of these platforms do anyway. Their hosting plans are kind of well within the reach of most users, particularly people who are just starting out. There's no hidden charges, and a lot of things are free, like the domain and the CDN and SSL. There's nothing extra that you need to pay for, whereas on some of these free platforms, you do need to pay for as an add-on and things like that. Another thing about good thing about Bluehost is that they offer a money-back guarantee. So this is for first-time use only, but essentially, if you buy a plan with them the first time, you can test it out for a good 30 days, and if you're not happy with it, you can receive a full refund. This is just on your web hosting service only. So if you were to buy a domain through them, you still own the rights to that domain, and you don't get the refund for that, which is fine because it's a domain that you would have gotten anyway. With their plans and their features, Bluehost offer a variety of hosting plans for all budgets and sizes. This includes shared hosting, VPS, dedicated server, cloud hosting, WooCommerce hosting, managed WordPress hosting, and lots more. Their shared hosting, so shared hosting is the perfect way to kind of start a new website with low traffic and volume. In a shared hosting environment, your website shares server resources with other websites. Cloud hosting, they offer cloud hosting as well, which is a more reliable upgrade to the shared hosting plan. It allows you to kind of utilize multiple cloud servers and allows your website to automatically switch to a different server in case of a hardware failure or high traffic or anything like that. With WordPress hosting, they have specific WordPress plans that are designed specifically for WordPress-powered websites, and it's optimized to run WordPress and can even protect your site against common threats. Same thing then with WooCommerce. So WooCommerce hosting is the most popular. WooCommerce itself is the most popular e-commerce plugin for WordPress, and it allows you to easily start an online store with WordPress. And they have specific hosting when it comes to WooCommerce as well. They offer you all the kind of essential features to kickstart your e-commerce store. As well as that, they offer VPS and dedicating hosted server. So with the dedicating hosting server, it means you have all the resources of the server to yourself. But then the VPS one is kind of an upgrade to the shared hosting. It allows you to virtually dedicate some of the resources in a shared environment. So all Bluehost hosting plans allow you to install WordPress with one click. All plans come with an easy-to-use hosting control panel where you can manage your hosting, create databases, etc. And Bluehost has a custom control panel that involves ease of use for beginners. It also uses a customized version of the cPanel hosting dashboard for more kind of advanced options as well. To see a breakdown of all their plans, just go onto their website and just click into whatever hosting type that you want. And you can see a breakdown of all their plans. So they have specific plans for shared hosting, they have specific plans for dedicated hosting, and things like that. Another popular and high-rated hosting provider in the WordPress community is SiteGround, and so SiteGround isn't just for WordPress, but it is good for specifically WordPress and WooCommerce websites, but they do host a whole bunch of other types of websites as well. They provide really unique in-house speed and security solutions to make your site as fast and secure as possible. They are known for the best kind of 24/7 support service that they have, which is really a really good thing, and they are an official WordPress recommended hosting provider. So SiteGround features include automatic upgrades, daily backups, built-in WP caching, free SSL, one-click staging, and things like that. So they offer a lot of things that a lot of the free hosting providers will kind of ask you to pay for as an add-on, but a lot of them would be essential. So like the daily backups, staging, one-click WordPress install, and free SSL. All of those things would be really good to have, and some cases essential. However, a lot of the free platforms don't offer that in their hosting package. So SiteGround, again, is one of the most recommended hosting companies, especially for WordPress. They have really good customer service and things like that. They have super fast servers, so all of SiteGround servers are highly optimized for speed, and they use Google Cloud Platform for all new customers, which is one of the fastest platforms on the market. Really highly rated customer support. They offer 24/7 phone support, live chat, and also a ticket-based system. They have free CDN and SSL. They offer instant setup of Cloudflare CDN and SSL certificates from Let's Encrypt. Multiple server locations. They have data centers in 3 continents, and you can choose the location of that you prefer during your sign up. Some limitations depending on what plan you pick is that there is limited storage, so their plans come with like a fixed storage. However, the storage is quite large, and if you are just starting out, then you'll most likely never have to need extra storage. They rank really well in performance tests, things like that. The types of plans that they offer shared hosting, cloud hosting, WordPress hosting, and WooCommerce hosting. So shared hosting, we've talked about WordPress. Their WordPress hosting plan is optimized version of their shared hosting plan but it's optimized for WordPress, and it comes with their own optimizations technology to improve the performance of your website. And you can see some of their plans here and what they come with. You can see in terms of their plans, they do come with the free domain, and they start as little as $2.99 a month, which is an amazing offer considering what you're getting as well. In terms of their WooCommerce hosting, so this plan is optimized for WooCommerce websites and optimized to make sure that they are a fast and performance website as possible. And and it's a version of their shared hosting plan. So it's included in SiteGrind's optimization, which greatly improves the performance of your online store. And then lastly, then they also offer cloud hosting. So cloud hosting plans provide a flexibility upgrade to shared hosting solutions, and it allows you to use resources of cloud architecture, including multiple core CPU, bandwidth. It's suitable for growing websites, popular blogs, or businesses, and it can also be an upgrade over VPS and traditional dedicated servers. So they have loads of scalable cloud hosting plans as well. A breakdown of their plans. So you have the startup, and this plan is kind of limited to hosting one website. This is just in their WordPress hosting. It includes a 10 GB disk space, and is suitable for websites having 10,000 monthly visitors, and you'll get the essential features like one-click WordPress installation, free setup, website transfer, daily backups, things like that. Their Grow Big plans offer everything that the startup do, but they have more disk space, about 20 GB, and it's good for websites that have an approximate of 25,000 monthly visitors. You get all the features of the startup plan, plus you'll get premium features like ultra-fast PHP for even faster speed, on-demand backups, easy staging tools, and things like that. Then you have the Go Geek for about £7 a month. And that's more suited towards e-commerce website, because they can handle websites having about 100,000 monthly visitors. In addition to Grow Big's features, you'll get access to priority support, more server resources, advanced features like one-click Git repo creation, and white labeling your client's dashboard as well. So you can see with the premium plans, with premium hosting, you get more sort of like a multi-level hosting plan, so you can pick a plan that kind of suits your needs a bit more, and you get a lot more for what you're paying for, especially with the things like the free domain and the support channel features as well. SiteGrind's support and customer service, there's lots of high praise for it. Their support team is remarkably good at offering quick, helpful, and knowledgeable support to their customers. Their customers also include their customer support also includes 24/7 phone support, live chat, ticket-based email support, and their phone and live chat response times are almost instant. Yeah, that's a really good thing, especially since you are paying premium hosting. You want to make sure that you pay for the support as well. So overall, free website hosting and free domain name is okay for a hobby project or like a development project. It's okay if you want to run a site for a little bit, get all the information that you need, and then turn it off. But if you're seriously building a website, or if it's meant to stay online for a little bit longer, you're better off with affordable hosting plan, or a hosting plan that kind of suits your budget. And you might find it's more cost effective to purchase a hosting plan because of the features that it comes with, in terms of like the free SSL, free backups, free domain for a certain number of years. Usually it's the first year. While they might not be free in total, you'll get a good price for all of that, because you'll end up paying more to get that stuff. Bluehost is a recommended self-hosted website server. If you check them out, you can see a lot of their reviews and realize that they are actually a really good hosting plugin in terms of their customer service and what they offer. You might also opt in for an all-in-one solution. For example, Wix is a good choice for a quick start, covering both hosting and website builder in one place. They do have the free plan, and you can try any premium plan that they have, as they do offer a 14-day money-back guarantee. And then when it comes to domain registrars, as long as you consider what you need in a domain registrar, things like the ease of use, privacy, associated services, support, cost, you might find that it's actually more cost effective to be paying for a domain domain as opposed to looking for a free one as well. In general, free web hosts and free domains provide little protection against cyber attacks, little protection against domain renewals. They have a lot of security flaws. The good news is that there are a lot of reputable web hosting services that provide safe and secure hosting that come with an affordable price. There are lots of web hosting platforms out there that have a multitude of different web hosting plans that you can pick from and pick which ones that you prefer. If you check out our YouTube channel, we have more videos on best website hosting for e-commerce website, WordPress websites, and just websites in general, and where you can kind of go through and see which plan kind of suits you best.